My name is Milind Kumar, and I am currently a student in the fourth semester of the Fitness and Health Promotion Program at Cambridge College. This video journal is with regards to my placement and more specifically about my experience with the whole process of procuring that aforementioned placement. I will reflect on those experiences, discuss the challenges that I have faced, and explain what I have learned from this endeavor. I will also discuss how I can utilize those lessons in a multitude of future events, such as job interviews or even job hunts. The entire process has been really helpful to me in terms of understanding what I would need in the future. Now, to introduce the placement itself, I have applied for the position of teaching assistant and will be working directly under the head of department for the Fitness and Health Promotion Department. Her name is Lynn Kabaroff, and she is my professor as well as supervisor for my placement. I will be assisting her in teaching a few classes as well as creating small quizzes that the students may be able to take throughout the weeks, and not directly grading any of the students, but giving my opinions on certain grades and performance of students. So Lynn can take that into consideration and maybe modify if she feels it necessary. I am not allowed to grade the students directly, as there may be a conflict of interest or any bias between me and the students, as they are my peers. The subjects that I will be assisting in can be any subject in the fitness and health promotion course that I have already taken or will take in the future, as long as I'm not currently taking them. As again, there would be a conflict of interest and I'm not allowed to do that. Now that you have a good understanding of what I'm going to be talking about in this video journal, as well as what my placement itself is, I'll move on to the main questions that are imperative to this video journal. The first of them being, why do you want to work in your chosen field or under the selected employer? The main reason that I want to work as a teaching assistant is that I am a certified personal trainer. I already have this ability to teach and this liking towards teaching, as my job role requires me to do that daily and effectively. Because if the client does not understand what you're saying, it really doesn't help. They won't take you on as a trainer. They won't see any benefits because they're not really using the information that you're giving them. So this role prepares me well for the job, for the future. And it is something that I'm also interested in as a career path in the future, to teach students as I keep learning, but that is quite far in the future. The other main reason was working under the employer, which is Lynn. She is well known in the fitness circles around Sudbury especially, and she's a very important figure in that regard. And I would highly appreciate a recommendation or anything with her name stamped on it would help me out a lot in my future endeavors. Moving on to the next question, which is, how did you find out about the position? Before answering this question, I would like to provide some context just to help you understand the situation itself. I am an international student and I am in the first batch of this program, the Fitness and Health Promotion Program. And all the international students in this program were unaware of the requirement of a co-op work permit for the completion of the placement. And this posed a big problem, as we were left with a very few options. We were either allowed to take a job under the college, which allowed us to work freely without any legality attached to it, or we could stop working our paying jobs and take a placement on instead, which was unpaid. Considering these situations, we were left with a very few options, and this was one of the main options that I was interested in, as it suited my profile as well as my legal requirements. My teacher, Martin, another professor for another subject, was the one who informed us about this placement. And I was overjoyed when I heard about that, and I applied immediately. The next question is, what was required in the application process, whether it was online, in person, cover letter, etc. So the main thing that was required for this application process was a cover letter and a resume. Considering how this was the first time I wrote a cover letter, it was a big deal for me. And I had just finished a careers course. So I used whatever knowledge I had gained from that careers course, especially with regards to setting up a cover letter and a resume. And I implemented all of that while applying for this position. So I wrote a cover letter stating my past experiences, bringing a little life to my resume, as well as giving robust examples of how I used that experience to get results in that job position or in future job positions. This really helped me, I feel at least, helped me procure the position, as it showed the employers, the professors, that I was capable of a lot more. And it showed that my time spent in those job roles were very useful. The next portion of the video journal is going to focus more on the reflective aspects uh, 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 of the entire experience that I've had with applying for this position and procuring this placement. So, the first question is, are you satisfied with how you performed during the application process? And to answer this, I would just say yes. I was absolutely astounded by how well written my cover letter was. Considering how it was the first cover letter I've actually written in my entire career, I was really satisfied with how I implemented the information that I've acquired beforehand in different courses, and also with how I polished off my resume. I saw the small details that usually employers don't like to see, or at least what I've learned that they don't like to see, and removed all of them, made sure that the resume is clean, has the right amount of information, does not flood the employer with too much information. And it also helps that it is with professors who I already have built a rapport with. So they understand my knowledge, they understand everything on that piece of paper beforehand. I had also made sure to adhere to the deadlines and apply beforehand to give them ample amount of time to review all of my documents and make sure that they have enough time to make a good decision based off of all the information that they have. The next question is, which strategies or skills did you effectively employ that contributed to securing that placement? One of the main things, again, as I've mentioned throughout this entire journal, is that I used aspects of written proficiency, which is cleaning out my resume, making sure the cover letter is apt and gives them the right amount of information, giving them examples, showing proof, everything that I've mentioned in the cover letter, not just baseless claims. The next thing would be that I used communication. Even though there wasn't a specific interview, in the email that I sent before sending them the cover letter and the resume, I made sure that I was highly professional, made sure that I communicated well, regardless of our rapport, made sure that they felt respected and understood that their position as an employer and my position as an employee is still established, whether I'm a student before that or not. As you know, that the dynamic is obviously different between a student and an employee. I made sure that they understood that I am willing to change accordingly, depending on the position, and they accepted that as well. The next question is, what have I learned from this process and what can I do better for future employment applications? The main thing that I learned from this entire process is that I need to keep my documents in order before applying for the job as well. So the legal aspects like my visa, my immigration, all of this is extremely important for employment, as these are the things that are the first thing that they look at when employing me, because these are high risk avenues, as they cannot employ someone who is illegally residing in Canada. This is something that is very important and something that I do really need to work on in the future to establish that I'm an eligible employee. The next thing is that there's nothing to be scared of. The process is very simple, and as long as you are qualified, you have your experience to back it up, and you're not applying for a job that you know nothing about, the process is relatively easy. It's good if you know the position and if you know what you are applying for mainly. I would definitely like to also improve on my writing skills for the letter and the resume. Keep polishing it. It's never that it can be perfect. I would also like to polish my resume and cover letter writing skills in order to make sure that even though it's not perfect, it's as close to perfect as it can be, making sure that the employees have just the right amount of information. To conclude, I would like to say that even though I had very limited options due to my co-op work permit requirement and my immigration status, I am highly satisfied with this placement and me getting this placement specifically. And I would definitely choose this over any other option, as it gave me the opportunity to teach and to build a better relationship with my professors, as well as understand the background functions that are imperative to the role of an educator. I will also ensure that my documentation and the legal aspects of my employment, which is my immigration status, are kept in order, as this is the first step for employment. And this is very important to me. Moving on, I would also ensure that my writing skills as well as interview skills are honed to a near perfection in order to ensure that I can apply for jobs and get a higher success rate. Thank you very much.